Legendary Robbers of America Part 1. Number 1. Jesse James. Born in 1847, Missouri, Jesse James was a rebel and an outlaw, with a gang that struck fear into the hearts of many. But Jesse was more than just an outlaw, he was a folk hero. His actions were seen as strikes against the banks and corporations that had exploited the South during Reconstruction. Regarded as a modern-day Robin Hood, taking from the rich and giving to the poor. And he got away with his crimes despite a relentless pursuit by the Pinkerton detectives. The turning point. On September 7, 1876, Jesse and his gang set their sights on the First National Bank of Northfield, Minnesota. But Northfield's residents refused to be victims. In an extraordinary show of bravery, they fought back, turning a quiet bank into a battleground. Jesse's gang crumbled, and they were forced to flee. Their grand plan had collapsed. This Northfield Day marked the beginning of the end for Jesse James. Finally, in 1882, aged 35, Jesse James met his end. Shot in the back, betrayed by his gang member, Robert Ford. Number 2. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. In the late 1800s, two brave buddies started doing some pretty wild stuff that changed history forever. Robert Leroy Parker, nicknamed Butch Cassidy, began his career in 1884 stealing cows and horses and became a legend at disappearing. While Harry Alonzo Longabaugh, or the Sundance Kid, debuted as a small-time crook in 1887 and gained a reputation in Pennsylvania. In Wyoming, 1899, their paths crossed, and they became best friends, setting the stage for some daring adventures. Between 1900 and 1901, under Butch's smart leadership, they formed the Wild Bunch gang and stole from banks and trains like nobody else. Later in 1901, in a bid to escape capture, they fled to Argentina, attempting to leave their life of crime behind. But legends can't escape their past forever. They restarted their life of crime. In 1908, their adventure ended with a big fight, and it didn't end well for Butch Cassidy at 42 and the Sundance Kid at 40 years of age. Number 3. Bonnie and Clyde. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, Bonnie Parker, a waitress, and Clyde Barrow, a small-time crook, met in Texas. They quickly fell in love and yearned for adventure and money. With their dreams of wealth, Bonnie and Clyde turned to robbing banks. Their crimes became famous all over the country. They outsmarted the police with fast cars and clever plans, making them the original Fast and Fury. They were involved in shootouts with the police, which left several officers dead and injured. These confrontations escalated the intensity of the manhunt. In May 1934, a tip from a local resident led law enforcement to their hideout in Bienville Parish, Louisiana. In a deadly ambush, a group of lawmen, including Texas Ranger Frank Hamer, riddled their car with bullets, killing Bonnie and Clyde instantly. Bonnie was 23 years old, and Clyde 24 years old.